taxi 49502.
This might be useful. Greg's hosting a charity event in Cannes.
You're thinking that? I'll do mine. Grab my balls. Yeah. Can I say,
Yes, sweetheart.
Go on, then. 2 days later, he's diagnosed with testicle cancer.
Oh, my God.
Okay, what do I do now?
Stay where you are. Get special forces. He's good with his feet and worse with his hands.
Must be a good little buggy.
Outclassed as usual.
You'll only mess this up like you do all the others, Mike.
What to watch?
I heard a gunshot.
Whatever. Anyway, shall we?
Deal with that. Yes, sir.
But not too close so he bolts. That'll initiate him activating his phone.
Lance. Thank you, sir. Maybe you can help me.
Southwest of this thing. They're going in the tunnel.
Oh, I think we're in trouble here.
Bye, boys. Some really useless pair of silicon tits. Let me handle this. Back off! You think I'm just gonna sit right now?
In Ukraine, a group of mafias slaughtered scientists in a laboratory. Their goal was to steal an AI weapon that the scientists had just created. The AI weapon was believed to have the potential to destroy the European continent. 2 days after the incident, an agent named Nathan was summoned to the Ministry of Defense building. Nathan was assigned the mission to retrieve the stolen AI weapon in Ukraine. The minister explained that if the AI weapon fell into the wrong hands, it could devastate Europe. Hearing this, Nathan accepted the mission and showed a photo of his best spy, Orson, to the minister. Nathan planned to recruit Orson for the mission, but the minister refused because Orson's fee was very high. The minister suggested that Nathan use a spy named John instead. Nathan explained that John was already working with another agent named Mike, who was his rival, making it impossible to hire someone working for Mike. Reluctantly, the minister agreed to let Orson join Nathan's team.
Where is he?
Well, it's funny you should say that. So he is on one of his, rehabilitation.
That same day, Nathan flew to Morocco to meet Orson, who was on vacation. Nathan explained to Orson that he would be recruited for a mission to recover the stolen AI weapon. Initially, Orson refused because he was on vacation. However, after Nathan explained that the AI weapon could destroy Europe, Orson reluctantly accepted the mission because his family also lived in Europe. Nathan and Orson then flew to Madrid to start their mission. Upon landing, they were greeted by JJ and Sarah, who were also part of Nathan's team. JJ was a sniper, while Sarah was an expert hacker. Orson and JJ waited at the airport to seize a hard drive from a courier, while Sarah hacked into the airport's CCTV. When the courier appeared on the CCTV, Sarah hacked the courier's phone and directed him to a coffee shop on the lower floor. Initially, their plan went smoothly without any obstacles. However, soon after, Sarah realized that Mike's team, Nathan's rival agents, were also there when the hacked CCTV experienced interference. Sarah immediately informed her team that Mike's team was at the airport, likely targeting the hard drive as well. She also told Orson that 2 people were approaching him.
1. He's moving to taxi 49502.
Nathan's team managed to capture the courier and the hard drive. During their journey, the elderly courier suffered a heart attack. While in pain, the courier revealed that the person who assigned him had kidnapped his wife. He provided an address and a meeting time with the buyer of the hard drive, asking Nathan to pose as the courier to meet the buyer and rescue his wife. Nathan would not be suspected because they had not seen the courier's face yet. Shortly after, Mike's team ambushed Nathan's team's car. At the same time, the courier died from the heart attack. When Mike's team forcibly opened Nathan's team's car, Nathan sent the hard drive data to Sarah's computer. After Nathan finished sending the hard drive data, Mike's team managed to open the car door. For his team's safety, Nathan handed the hard drive to Mike.
Let's go.
After Mike left, Sarah contacted Nathan, saying the hard drive data was locked. Nathan had no choice but to disguise himself as the courier and find out who the buyer was. Nathan then went to a cafe to meet the hard drive buyer. Meanwhile, Sarah and Orson monitored Nathan through a camera installed in his glasses. When the buyer approached Nathan, Sarah immediately detected his face and found his complete data. The man was named Ben, a lawyer and advisor to the richest mafia boss named Simon. Hearing Simon's name, Orson told Sarah that Simon was a highly respected illegal weapons supplier among mafias. From Simon's data, Sarah found that Simon idolized Danny Francesco, an actor in America.
This might be useful. Greg's hosting a charity event in Cannes.
Nathan's team then flew to LA to pick up Danny Francesco. They planned to use Danny to approach Simon. Upon arriving at LA Airport, Nathan's team strategized. Nathan and Sarah waited at the airport while Orson met Danny on his private plane. When Orson met Danny, he invited Danny to come with him, but Danny refused. Orson then showed a tablet containing a compromising video of Danny with his sister-in-law. Fearing the video would be leaked, Danny reluctantly complied with Orson's demands.
I actually love my sister-in-law.
Orson and Sarah took Danny to Cannes, France, to attend a fundraising event on Simon's yacht. Once on Simon's yacht, Orson and Sarah instructed Danny to approach Simon and distract him while they searched for information on where Simon kept the stolen AI weapon. When Simon saw Danny, he was shocked that his idol was at his event. Simon welcomed Danny warmly and engaged in conversation. While they were chatting, Orson and Sarah noticed one of Mike's men from the Madrid airport at the party. Orson realized that Mike was also targeting Simon to get the AI weapon. Orson asked Sarah to plant a bug in Simon's private room while he dealt with Mike's man.
You're thinking that. She's nothing more to mine. Grab him by the balls. Yeah. Then I say, you sweetheart.
Go on, then. 2 days later, he's diagnosed with testicle cancer.
Oh, my God.
Okay, what do I do now?
Stay where you are. Get special forces. He's good with his feet and worse with his hand.
Must be a good little buggy.
Outclassed as usual.
You'll only mess this up like you do all the others, Mike.
More to watch.
After successfully planting the bug, Sarah rejoined Danny, who was still chatting with Simon. Sarah pretended to be Danny's girlfriend, prompting Simon to invite them both to his villa in Turkey for a few days. Shortly afterward, Simon's business associate approached and asked Danny for a photo together. Orson, having just subdued one of Mike's men, arrived and promptly took Danny and Sarah away from the scene. Once Orson, Sarah, and Danny had left, Nathan and JG listened in on Simon's conversation with his business associate about the weapon sale through the bug. Nathan learned that the weapon would be sold for $10 billion, but Simon didn't reveal the buyer's identity. The next day, Nathan's team gathered to discuss who might be purchasing the weapon from Simon. With no clear leads, Orson decided to infiltrate the house of Simon's business associate to steal data on potential buyers.
I'll do it. I can get inside the Ukrainians.
That night, Orson broke into the business associate's house, carrying knockout gas. Sarah assisted Orson by hacking into the CCTV. After successfully channeling the gas through the air conditioner vents, causing everyone in the house to pass out, Orson entered. With Sarah's help, Orson opened the safe and copied all the data from the business associate's laptop. To cover his tracks, Orson stole valuable items to make it look like a robbery. As he was about to leave, 2 guards caught him.
I heard a gunshot.
Whatever. Anyway, shall we?
The next morning, Nathan's team reconvened to search the stolen laptop for information. However, they couldn't find any names of potential buyers for the AI weapon. Sarah then hacked Simon's phone, discovering he was speaking with his right-hand man, Kosim, about the robbery. Sarah identified Kosim as a Turkish government official who planned to meet Simon the next day. Hearing this, Nathan instructed Sarah and Danny to accept Simon's invitation to Turkey. Sarah and Danny arrived at Simon's villa, where they were warmly welcomed. Simon showed Danny his collection of antique cars. Danny, fascinated by one he had used in a movie, expressed his desire for it, but it was very expensive. Knowing this, Simon gifted the car to Danny, who then invited Simon to take a ride with him. Meanwhile, Orson and JG monitored Qasim's movements and noticed that Mike's team was also tracking him. Sarah successfully hacked Simon's CCTV and computer, discovering that the weapon Simon was selling was only an AK-47, not the AI weapon they were seeking. Sarah informed Nathan, who felt disheartened by their wrong target. Nathan then contacted Orson, trailing Ben, Simon's lawyer, and told him they had been chasing the wrong person. However, Orson refused to return, convinced Simon had the stolen AI weapon, and continued to follow Ben, who eventually noticed and had his guards confront Orson.
Deal with that. Yes, sir.
But not too close so he bolts. That'll initiate him activating his phone.
Lost. Thank you, sir. Maybe you can help me.
After Ben was killed, Gigi arrived to rescue Orson. That night, the Minister of Defense confirmed to Nathan that Simon didn't have the AI weapon, but possessed the hard drive's password to activate it. Simon planned to have Ben sell the password the next day. Fortunately, neither Simon nor the buyer knew Ben was dead, as their communication had been solely by phone. Hearing this, Orson volunteered to impersonate Ben and retrieve the AI weapon.
Can we make me Ben Harris? Go on. I'll do the deal myself.
The next day, Orson, disguised as Ben, met the buyer while GJ protected him from afar. When Orson contacted Simon, Sarah, still at Simon's villa, altered Orson's voice to sound like Ben. Unaware of the deception, Simon gave Orson the hard drive's password. Once the hard drive was activated, Simon's men recognized Orson as their attacker and aimed a gun at him, prompting JJ to act quickly.
JJ?
Meanwhile, Sarah thwarted the AI weapon sale and planned to escape Simon's villa with Danny. Orson, attempting to flee by car, was attacked from all directions until his car was damaged, realizing the attackers were Mike's team. At the villa, Simon learned of Ben's death and Sarah's hack. He ordered his men to capture Danny and Sarah.
Do it now. Do it now!
Get after that car. Bring them back to me.
Mike's team captured the hard drive buyer and seized the hard drive, then killed the buyer. Mike departed by helicopter, instructing his men to kill Orson, but JJ protected Orson from afar. After eliminating Mike's men, JJ informed Orson about a nearby helicopter with a dead pilot. Meanwhile, Danny and Sarah were still being chased by Simon's men.
Don't worry about them, they can take care of themselves.
Find out where they are. 2 minutes southwest of this thing. They're going in the tunnel.
Oh, I think we're in trouble here.
After rescuing Danny and Sarah, Nathan informed Orson that Mike wasn't working for the government, but stealing the AI weapon for personal gain. Nathan assumed Mike intended to use the AI weapon as a financial atomic bomb, causing chaos in the banking system and eliminating trust in conventional markets, leaving gold as the only credible currency. Hearing this, Orson planned to meet Simon for cooperation. At Simon's villa, Orson proposed working together to retrieve the stolen AI weapon from Mike. Initially reluctant due to Orson's previous attack, Simon was persuaded by Danny and agreed to cooperate.
Oh, Danny. Well, how can I say no?
Nathan briefed the Minister of Defense on Mike's plan to use the AI weapon for financial terrorism. The minister instructed Nathan's team to stop Mike immediately.
Now it's time for your man to prove his worth.
That night, Simon took Danny to meet his business partner, who Mike intended to sell the AI weapon to. Sarah and JJ helped Orson infiltrate the meeting. Sarah disrupted the communications while JJ protected Orson from a distance. Simon subtly sabotaged his business partner's deal with Mike, leveraging the AI weapon's impact.
Bye, boys.
A really useless pair of silicon tits. Let me handle this. Back off! They think I'm just gonna sit brush it off?
When Orson arrived, he found everyone dead. Mike, still alive, attacked Orson but was quickly overpowered due to his severe injuries. Orson retrieved the AI weapon. The next day, Orson, Sarah, and JJ traveled to Doha to meet Nathan and hand over the AI weapon. Proud of his team's success, Nathan offered another mission with higher pay, but Orson declined, choosing to go on vacation.
Where are we going, darling?
Dunno. I don't care.
Сука, я бы вот такую волны промеж глаза.
нас в Бернау коров сбивают.
Das macht man ganz liebevoll.
А если молотком? Раз?
Только не мангал.
Держись, держи, вышки. За мной. Спасибо.
Я еще вернусь.
25 Hiebe, 10 Tage. Наказание, 25 ударов.
Что натворил?
Подыгрывай.
Genug, Sokolov. Hat es Spaß gemacht? Ja. Capo, übernehmen.
Убьют.
Сука продажная!
Oberleutnant, haben Sie gefunden, wonach Sie suchen? Давай, Дром! Давай!
Давай уже! Что такое-то?
Ну надо же. Миша, я смотрю. Отцу. Отцу Николай. Прости меня за все.
Приготовиться к жесткой посадке!
Пойдет. Сверлил дырочку лакителем.
Thank you for clicking on this video. This time, Underline Movie will summarize the story of the film Escape from Hell. Based on a true story, this film tells the seemingly impossible escape of a Russian fighter pilot from a German prison camp. What is the full story? Let's find out together. On May 1, 1957, at the Kazum River port, the Russian people gathered to celebrate International Workers' Day. After the event, a man named Mikhail Deviateyev and his family boarded a bus to go home. On the bus, Mikhail greeted an elderly man, but the old man called Mikhail a traitor to the country. The old man was the father of Mikhail's friend, Kolya, a Russian fighter pilot. Kolya had been declared dead by his country while fighting against Germany. When the old man insulted him, Mikhail remained silent.
Вот если бы Коля выжил, боялся, как вы, а вам?
The story flashes back to the past, specifically to July 13, 1944. An aerial battle took place between Russia and Germany near the border. In that battle, Michael tried to shoot down several German planes, but soon after, Michael's plane was hit and caught fire. Fortunately, Michael managed to escape before his plane crashed. Michael landed in a forest in German territory. After that, he was captured by German forces and taken to a camp for captured pilots. In that camp, the captured pilots were given briefings and offers. They were given the opportunity to live, but they had to serve Germany and become special pilots for them. They were given the chance to live as traitors. After the briefing, all the prisoners left the room except for Michael. Then, the man who gave the briefing approached Michael. It turned out that the man was Kolya. Kolya was Michael's friend who was considered a hero by their country. It turns out Kolya was still alive and working for Germany. At that time, Kolya tried to persuade Michael to join him. But instead, Michael urged Kolya to escape and return to their country. However, Kolya refused Michael's offer because he had already become a traitor to the country. His father would never forgive him.
Погоны немецкие. Позор семье. Меня отец не простит.
That night, Michael and several other prisoners tried to escape, but Kolya and some German soldiers pursued them. Kolya tried to stop Michael and protect him from punishment by the German soldiers.
Что ты помог мне предотвратить побег? Ты только подтверди мою. Я людям потом в глаза смотрю. Каким людям ты? Вот этим, а? Я все равно улечу!
The next day, at the concentration camp, all the prisoners underwent a sanitation check. After that, they were divided into several groups to perform forced labor. However, since Michael had organized the escape, he was sentenced to death. Before being executed, Michael was asked to cut his hair. Fortunately, the barber saved him from execution by giving him a new identity. With that identity, Michael was transferred to a concentration camp on Ustam Island, where Germany's secret weapon testing facility was located.
Везут тебя туда, откуда не возвращаются. Донесет она тебя до дома.
On the ship, Michael gave a piece of bread to a starving prisoner. The man's name was Fatih. Upon arriving at Ustam Island, they were herded into the concentration camp. At that moment, a prisoner tried to snatch the bread from Fatih. Michael intervened to help Fatih. After that, the Germans confirmed the identities of the prisoners, and they were forced into labor. While working, Michael noticed there was an airfield in the camp. That night, the prisoners were gathered and ordered to sing a German anthem. Shortly after, a German test missile hit the area, and Fatih was one of the victims. The next day, Michael found Fatih, who was still alive. Fatih was grouped with the corpses of the missile explosion victims from the previous night. Before dying, Fatih asked Michael to find a man named Korsa and tell him that Michael would take his place.
Прости. Защити коржа. Патрик. Какого коржа?
While working, Michael heard someone calling for Korsa. Then, Michael followed Korsa, who went to the seashore. When they met, Michael told Korsa that he would replace Fatih. A prisoner named Sokolov, who was assigned to watch over the prisoners, was also secretly working with them. After that, they explained their escape plan to Michael. They planned to escape by boat, but Michael suggested they escape using a German plane. During their lunch break, they gathered and meticulously planned their escape within 2 minutes using the German plane. However, Michael, who would be the pilot, felt that 2 minutes was not enough for the escape because all the instructions for flying the plane were in German. Michael needed to understand German first. A prisoner mentioned that there was a damaged German plane near a bunker in the forest.
Ну, вроде такие же, как наш. Устрой на завтра в КП.
компания в бригаду.
After that, Sokolov took them to the forest under the pretense of gathering firewood for the German soldiers guarding the bunker. Sokolov then pretended to order Mikhail to retrieve a tank from the damaged German plane. While at the plane, Mikhail studied and gathered information on how to fly the German aircraft. Since Mikhail was taking too long, the guards began to grow suspicious and started searching for him.
Сука, я бы атаковал и промеж глаз.
Days passed, and Mikhail continued to learn German and study how to operate the German plane. When they were working at the airfield, they decided that today would be the day they escape. Sokolov tried to distract the German guards, while the other prisoners planned to kill the guard from the other side. However, just as they were about to kill the German soldier, something unexpected happened.
А как у вас в Бернау коров сбивают?
Das macht man ganz liebevoll.
А если молотком? Was?
The airfield was attacked by Russian forces. However, one bomb didn't explode and landed near one of the German planes. Mikhail volunteered to defuse the bomb for one of the German officers at the airfield, pretending to help them in exchange for food afterward. While defusing the bomb, Mikhail observed the plane. Shortly afterward, he successfully disarmed the bomb.
Держи, вышки.
За мной. Спасибо.
Я еще вернусь.
Back at the prison camp, a fellow prisoner insulted Mikhail, calling him a traitor for helping the Germans defuse the bomb. The prisoner also shouted to the others, claiming that Mikhail was planning to escape the camp. Enraged, Mikhail ended up killing the prisoner. Due to this incident, Mikhail was punished with a whipping.
25 Hiebe, 10 Наказание! 25 ударов!
Что натворил?
Подыгрывай. Genug, Sokolov. Hat es Spaß gemacht? Ja. Capo, übernehmen. Убьют.
The next day, a German officer ordered Kolya to search for Mikhail at the Ustum camp after receiving information that a barber had swapped a prisoner's identity. Soon after, Kolya arrived at the Ustum Island prison camp. The prisoners were then gathered, and Kolya, already familiar with Mikhail, tried to find him. Fortunately, the prisoners attempted to protect Mikhail.
Сука продажная!
Oberleutnant, haben Sie gefunden, wonach Sie suchen?
Afterward, Sokolov took them back to work in the airfield area. Once the German soldiers left the airfield, Sokolov attempted to kill the German guard, with the other prisoners helping him. After successfully killing the German soldier, they immediately headed to the plane they intended to take. At the same time, Kolya heard that a prisoner had successfully defused a Russian bomb at the airfield. Realizing this, Kolya understood that Mikhail was indeed at the camp. At the airfield, Mikhail and his friends managed to start the engine of the German plane and prepared for takeoff. The German soldiers guarding the airfield didn't realize that it was Michael piloting the plane. However, because Michael hadn't yet fully mastered flying the German plane, he struggled during takeoff.
Давай.
Давай уже!
At the same time, Kolya and several German officers arrived at the airfield and noticed that a plane was missing. Shortly afterward, they saw Michael's plane attempting to return to the original runway. Kolya and the German soldiers quickly moved to intercept the plane. Finally, Michael successfully took off. However, shortly after, they heard Kolya's voice over the plane's radio. Kolya was determined not to let Michael return to their homeland, fearing that Michael would reveal his betrayal to his parents. Kolya tried to shoot down Michael's plane. Michael evaded him until Kolya's plane ran out of ammunition. As they neared the border, Michael tried to persuade Kolya to come back with him. But instead, Kolya attempted to kill Michael by ramming his plane's wheels into Michael's aircraft. In response, Michael ordered the other prisoners to grab the machine gun on their plane and shoot Kolya. As they reached the border, they were fired upon by Russian forces, who mistook them for Germans because they were flying a German plane. The attack severely damaged their plane, forcing Michael to make an emergency landing. They managed to land safely. Soon after, Russian soldiers surrounded them. Michael tried to convince the soldiers that they were Russians, and eventually, the soldiers believed them. Michael and his companions were then taken to a hospital for treatment. While at the hospital, Russian officers asked Michael to pinpoint the locations of German weaponry on a map. All the German weapon locations were subsequently destroyed in a full-scale airstrike by Russian forces. After that, an officer interrogated Michael. The officer said that the Germans took 6 months to learn how to fly their planes. He believed that someone in Germany had guaranteed Michael's safety before he could fly the plane. Michael was asked to reveal who this person was, but he remained silent. The story returns to the moment when Kolya's father insulted Michael as a traitor. Kolya's father asked who had ensured Michael's safety in Germany back then, but Michael remained silent and did not tell him that it was Kolya who had guaranteed his safety and betrayed their country.
«12 лет меня возили на допросы. В тот день меня вызвали в Москву. Спустя 12 лет после побега, и все вокруг от мала до велика кричали нам «Слава героям!» и залпы салютов.
Went back inside. Shortly after, the school was attacked. He encountered Rigmor's mother. Henry hadn't seen her. Rigmor was still alive, but she was trapped under the building debris not far from Teresa. Teresa kept communicating with Rigmor. Rigmor asked Teresa if they would go to heaven. After that, Teresa heard nothing more from Rigmor. Water began to rise from the ground, filling the basement. The rescue workers quickly brought hoses to try to reduce the water in the basement. Frederick took the hose into the basement. Shortly after, Frederick managed to find Teresa among the rubble. But unexpectedly, Teresa went into the water to search for Rigmor in the next video.
That's enough for the moment. Next.
Thank you for clicking on this video. This time, we will summarize the story of the film Gladiator. This film tells the story of a former Roman general who is determined to take revenge against a corrupt emperor who killed his family and sent him into slavery. It's really exciting. Let's dive into the full story together. At the height of its glory, the power of the Roman Empire extended from Africa to northern England. Nearly a quarter of the world's population at that time was under the rule of the Roman Emperor. In the winter of 180 AD, a war occurred between Emperor Marcus and the barbarian tribes in Germania. This war was nearing its end, with only one last fortress standing in Rome's way. A Roman war general named Maximus led his troops against Germania. Soon after, a horse arrived carrying the body of a Roman soldier sent to negotiate, signaling that the barbarians refused to submit to Roman rule. Maximus then prepared his troops to battle the barbarian forces. The battle was fierce, but the Roman army eventually achieved victory. Shortly after the battle, Emperor Marcus's son, Commodus, and his sister, Lucilla, arrived at the battlefield. Meanwhile, Maximus asked the emperor for permission to return home, feeling his duty was complete. Commodus approached his father, saying he had prepared 100 cattle as a reward for the victory, but the emperor stated that Maximus deserved the reward more.
It has been too long, my old friend.
That night, Maximus visited his injured troops. He cared deeply about their condition, which earned him great respect. Afterward, Maximus joined in the victory celebration. Commodus invited Maximus to join him as a general by his side, but Maximus declined, stating he only wanted to return to his family after Marcus' passing. The next day, Maximus was summoned to meet Emperor Marcus. The emperor wanted Maximus to lead Rome after his death and to put an end to the corruption in Rome. However, Maximus declined the offer, feeling he was just a man from the countryside, and that Commodus, the emperor's son, should rightfully be emperor. The emperor disagreed, believing Commodus was unfit to lead due to his childish nature. Maximus was torn and asked for time to consider the decision. The following night, Commodus visited his father. Emperor Marcus revealed his intention to appoint Maximus as emperor after his death. Hearing this, Commodus was deeply disappointed and enraged, slowly killing his father. Maximus, while sleeping, was awakened and informed of Emperor Marcus's death. Inside the room, Commodus demanded Maximus's loyalty, but Maximus walked away. In his tent, Maximus asked his servant to wake Senators Gaius and Valerius, suspecting foul play in the emperor's death. Suddenly, General Quintus arrived and arrested Maximus, revealing himself as a follower of Commodus. Quintus ordered his men to execute Maximus per Commodus's command. The next day, Maximus was taken to a forest for execution, but managed to escape. Maximus fled on a horse taken from Quintus's soldiers and hurried home. Upon arrival, he found his wife and son had been hanged and burned by Roman troops. After burying them, Maximus collapsed. When he regained consciousness, he was shocked to find himself in a cart with strangers, having been captured by a group of slave traders. At a slave market, an old man named Proximo bought Maximus and took him to a place where street fighters or gladiators were trained. There, potential gladiators were tested one by one to determine their suitability for the arena. When it was Maximus's turn, he remained silent while being beaten.
That's enough for the moment. Next.
In prison, Maximus spoke with a fellow slave named Juba. Juba wondered why Maximus did not fight back when beaten. Hagen, the slave who had beaten Maximus earlier, explained that to be freed from slavery, they must win the fights. The slaves were then herded into the arena. The audience cheered in anticipation of the spectacle. Inside the arena, executioners were ready, and the gladiators were chained in pairs for combat. Maximus and Juba were chained together. The fight began. Maximus and Juba managed to defeat the executioners in the arena. The audience cheered for them. Meanwhile, Commodus was crowned Emperor of Rome. Upon arriving at the palace, Commodus was greeted by senators who immediately discussed Rome's issues. However, the arrogant Commodus, disliking being controlled, left the room. Lucilla met with Commodus and advised him. Frustrated, Commodus stated that if the Roman people were happy with the war victory, they would also enjoy gladiator battles. Commodus planned to hold a gladiator tournament. Proximo heard that Commodus was holding gladiator matches in the Colosseum to commemorate his father's death. Proximo wanted Maximus to compete in the Colosseum because if he won, he could gain his freedom. Maximus agreed, as he had another goal, to avenge his family's death by killing Commodus. The participating gladiators then set off for Rome. Lucilla gathered with the senators and revealed all of Commodus' crimes against the state. Commodus had sold Rome's food supplies to finance the gladiator matches, threatening Rome with starvation for 2 years. Lucilla also said that Commodus planned to dissolve the Senate and wanted all his actions stopped immediately. In the Colosseum's underground chambers, Maximus and the other gladiators prepared to enter the arena. The gladiators entered the Colosseum, which was filled with spectators. Shortly after, Commodus arrived at the Colosseum. The match promoter welcomed the audience and introduced the barbarian forces as the gladiators' opponents. The battle began. Maximus' command, the gladiators defeated the barbarian forces and won the battle. Afterward, Commodus entered the arena to congratulate the gladiators. Commodus asked the name of the man behind the iron mask. Maximus ignored him and walked away. Enraged by the slight, Commodus threatened Maximus. Finally, Maximus removed his mask and declared his name was Maximus, commander of the northern armies, general of Emperor Marcus's legions. Commodus was shocked because he had ordered Maximus's assassination. Commodus ordered his men to prepare to kill Maximus, but the Roman people, seeing this, shouted for Maximus to live. Fearful of being hated by the people, Commodus spared Maximus and left the arena. After the incident, Maximus was taken by the guards to a room where Princess Lucilla was waiting. Still angry over his family's death, Maximus accused Lucilla of being involved, but she was not. Lucilla was also furious at Commodus for her father's death. Lucilla said she saw hope in Maximus because, after the previous battle, she saw Maximus had won the hearts of the Roman people. Lucilla wanted Maximus to meet a powerful senator and planned Commodus' overthrow. However, Maximus ignored Lucilla's request and wanted to kill Commodus in his own way. The next day, Commodus executed 2 of his men who had betrayed him by reporting Maximus's false death. The next match began soon. Commodus arrived at the Colosseum, and Maximus's former servant also attended the match. This time, Maximus's opponent was Tigris, Emperor Commodus's champion gladiator. Maximus entered the arena, and Commodus placed 4 tigers in the arena. Maximus managed to defeat Tigris. Commodus signaled for Optimus to kill Tigris, but unexpectedly, Maximus dropped his weapon and spared Tigris' life. Because of this, the people admired Maximus even more. As Maximus left the arena, he met his servant. Maximus asked his servant to inform his troops that their general was still alive and to prepare for battle the next day. At the gladiators' headquarters, the servant returned to Maximus and reported that his troops were ready to fight. Maximus then asked his servant to meet Princess Lucilla and convey a message that Maximus agreed to meet with the leading senator as Lucilla wished. Maximus's servant successfully delivered the message to the princess. Maximus finally met with Princess Lucilla and the leading senator. The 3 of them planned a coup. Maximus asked for the senator's help to free him from slavery. Maximus would return to Rome with his troops, and once his mission was complete, he would leave Rome and hand over the kingdom's fate to the senators. The senators requested 2 days to free Maximus. When Princess Lucilla entered her room, Commodus was already there. Commodus said he suspected the leading senator of influencing the other senators. Commodus said he would teach the leading senator a lesson. That night, Princess Lucilla visited Maximus and informed him that Commodus had captured the leading senator. Lucilla told Maximus that their mission had to be carried out that night. When Lucilla returned to the palace, she saw Commodus with her son, Lucius. Commodus had realized that Lucilla had a plan to overthrow him. Commodus immediately sent his troops to attack the barracks where Maximus was and ordered others to kill the senators by placing snakes in their beds. Maximus was ready to execute his plan, but found Roman soldiers attacking outside. Seeing this, Proximo handed Maximus the keys to the gladiator cells. Maximus instructed the other gladiators to escape. Maximus sneaked into the underground chambers to escape and meet his troops. Outside, Maximus saw his servant from a distance. As he approached, his servant was suddenly strangled by a rope and shot with arrows, dying. It was a trap. Commodus had discovered Maximus's entire plan. Maximus was finally captured. In the Colosseum prison, Maximus was chained. Commodus challenged Maximus to a duel in the arena. But before that, Commodus stabbed Maximus with a poisoned knife. Commodus and Maximus then entered the arena. Commodus was escorted by several Roman soldiers led by Quintus. The soldiers formed a circle around the fighting area. They both began to fight. Maximus appeared very weak due to the poison's effects. However, the battle remained intense until Maximus managed to disarm Commodus. Commodus asked the soldiers around him for a sword, but Quintus unexpectedly ordered his men not to give Commodus a sword. Commodus pulled out a small knife hidden in his sleeve and attacked Maximus, but Maximus turned the tables and stabbed Commodus with the knife Commodus had. Commodus finally died at Maximus's hands. After killing Commodus, Maximus told Quintus to free all the gladiators and give authority to the senators to restore the Roman government. Maximus then collapsed. Lucilla approached Maximus and said her goodbyes. Maximus finally died from the poison in his body.
Gimana filmnya bosku? Epic sekali kan? Terima kasih untuk kalian yang sudah mau nonton sampai habis. Berhubung suara saya sudah mau habis karena ceritanya panjang banget, saya udahi dulu perbacotan saya kali ini. Sampai jumpa di video berikutnya.
Kalau harga diri yang paling rendah itu adalah pengkhianat.
Child 1, Ray, BMW, about 20 meters in front.
Dougie, keep it 12.
1, cover the pack.
Mother, package in tow, we have one critical.
Strip now.
I copy, Mother. Proceeding to the air.
Saya mau keluar dari negara ini sekarang.
Lu bohong ke gua?
No, I didn't.
Kalau harga diri yang paling rendah itu adalah pengkhianat.
Hello to all the successful people who love to lounge while watching movie plots. Thank you for clicking on this video. This time, Underline Movie will discuss the plot of a film titled Mile 22. This film stars one of Indonesia's pride, Iko Uwais. The movie is about a group of secret American agents called Overwatch. They are recruited to investigate a bomb material called cesium. This cesium is extremely dangerous. The power of 4 kilograms of cesium is estimated to be more than the combined force of the 2 atomic bombs dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The film begins in a house in the United States. A husband and wife are seen arguing because they are confused about finding someone's address. They are Alice and Alexander. It turns out that they are both members of Overwatch who are only pretending. Not far from them, other team members are already preparing. The field leader of Overwatch is James Silva. They are tasked with retrieving a computer hard drive believed to contain important information about cesium. Every time they take action, Overwatch is always guided from their headquarters by their team led by Bishop. Alice and Alexander then pretend to be visitors, throw a flashbang, and quickly secure the house. They then open the back door so that the rest of the Overwatch team can enter. Everything goes smoothly. William easily finds the places where the hard drives are stored as planned. Jackpot. But shortly after, their advanced drone detects someone hiding in a room. Alice checks the place where the person is hiding.
Seconds, make it quick. Gun!
Suddenly, the person fires a shot, causing Alice to fall. Fortunately, Alice is wearing a bulletproof vest, so her life is saved. Using the commotion, the hostages then fight back, and Alexander loses his life. One of the hostages then opens a gas line that spreads throughout the room, intending to blow up the house.
Assault 1 DNA.
Child 1, what are we doing?
Stay put, we're on the clock.
Due to the hostages' resistance, a shootout is inevitable. However, with their skills, the Overwatch team manages to control the situation.
PA 2 minutes.
Silva, monitoring from outside the house, sees a young man trying to escape, and without hesitation, sends the young man to meet his maker.
Child 1, the cavalry is en route.
The Overwatch team successfully completes the mission and exits the house before a large explosion occurs. The next day, Silva sees the news on television. It turns out they hit the wrong target. The house they attacked was the home of a Russian secret agent in America, and the young man Silva shot was only 18 years old. The film then shows James Silva's background. It appears that Silva is a very intelligent child. He has the ability to think faster than most other people. Unfortunately, Silva has an unstable temper, and to control it, Silva needs an adrenaline boost in the form of a rubber band attached to his hand. 16 months pass. The Overwatch team continues to search for cesium, and this time they are taken to a country in Asia where the city is filled with corruption, collusion, and nepotism. In a cafe, Sam and William meet Silva. They report about the cesium raid mission at Indokar's port. However, in that raid, the team sent did not find any cesium. They only found weapons and some fake paintings. Hearing this, Silva is furious. Silva then asks where Alice is. He is very angry with Alice because the raid was carried out based on information from a secret agent Alice had.
Now, what do we have now? What do we have now? Huh? What is this?
Silva then meets Alice and asks her to resolve the issue immediately.
Go outside.
Yeah, the sign outside says ladies.
Shortly after, a local police officer, who is also a member of Indocor's elite force, named Lai Noor, visits the United States Embassy. Lai Noor brings a hard drive containing data on the locations of cesium. Lai Noor comes to the embassy seeking protection from America and wants America to take him out of Indokar. In exchange, Lai Noor will give the code to the hard drive, and if the code is not entered within 8 hours, the hard drive will automatically delete the files inside. It turns out that Lai Noor is a secret agent owned by Alice. After feeling deceived by the previous information, Alice no longer trusts Lai Noor.
Saya mau keluar dari negara ini. Sekarang. Lu bohong gua? No, I didn't. Keluarkan gue dari negara ini, dan gue akan kasih sisinya.
Take a closer look at the paintings.
However, Lai Noor tells them to check the paintings they got from the port previously, and indeed, behind those paintings, they find cesium. Shortly after, the United States Embassy is visited by the ambassador and Indocor's chief of police named Axel. Their arrival is to ask America to hand over Lai Noor to them. They accuse Lai Noor of betraying Indokar. Silva, who is involved in the meeting, realizes that Lai Noor is important because a high-ranking official like the chief of police and the ambassador personally comes to fetch him. Lai Noor then undergoes several tests, starting with a lie detector and a health check. The lie detector shows that everything Lai Noor says is true and can be trusted. While about to enter the next test, Lai Noor feels something strange about the two officers who will examine him. And sure enough, they are Indocor's envoys sent to kill Lai Noor.
Kalau harga diri yang paling rendah itu adalah pengkhianat.
However, even with handcuffs on, Lai Noor manages to defeat them. Silva and the ambassador are informed of the incident.
Because the men who were wandering the embassy are now absolutely dead.
After reviewing the footage, Silva becomes more convinced that Lai Noor is not an ordinary person and decides to protect him. They undertake the secret mission by resigning from the CIA, the organization they work for. In other words, Overwatch only carries out secret missions that are considered to disrupt diplomatic relations between the US and other countries. By resigning, they have now become ordinary citizens, and if anything happens, the United States will not be held accountable. The Overwatch mission is led by Bishop. Their team then goes to a very secret place to guide the mission of escorting Lai Noor to an airport 22 miles away. After that, Silva's team leaves the United States Embassy.
Prepare for net changeover.
Shortly after, a group of motorcyclists tries to attach something to their car. At the same time, the surveillance network from headquarters is cut off, and upon rechecking the missed footage, an explosive device has been attached to Sam's car.
Contact, vehicles down hard.
As a result of the explosion, 3 Overwatch members are killed instantly, and Sam is severely injured. It turns out the motorcyclists are Indocare police, and a gunfight ensues. Seeing the constantly arriving enemies, the headquarters finds a suitable car for them to use.
Child 1, Ray, BMW about 20 meters in front.
Dougie, keep it 12.
1, cover the pack.
Meanwhile, Silva, seeing that Sam could no longer be saved, gave him 2 grenades to use as a way to meet his maker. After securing a car, they left Sam behind, and Sam blew himself up along with the hostile Indocare traffic officer. In the car, Silva decided to go to a safe house. A safe house is a secret building owned by the United States used by their agents to seek help or retrieve mission-supporting equipment. Upon arriving at the safe house, Silva took some ammunition. It turned out that the police had already surrounded the place. Seeing Axel outside the building, Silva then went to meet him.
American office is an active war.
I need him back right now.
So I got the scope on the man. You want me to take the shot?
No.
It's nothing personal, man. I'm just doing my job.
It's doing what?
When Silva re-entered the building, unbeknownst to him, an intruder had placed a grenade on a table. The explosion severely injured William's leg. Shortly after, some strong women arrived and attacked Silva. Luckily, Lenore came just in time to help him. Due to the continuous attacks, Silva decided to leave.
Mother, package in tow. We have one critical.
Strip now.
I copy, Mother. Proceed to the airport.
However, suddenly their car was rammed by the pursuers. Realizing there was little time left before the pickup plane arrived, William decided to hold off the Indocare police on his own. Meanwhile, Silva, Alice, and Lenore were guided out of the area by headquarters. The Indocare police continued to chase them to an apartment building. The relentless attacks caused Silva and Alice to be separated, as Alice tried to protect a child.
Jimmy, do you copy? They're separated.
There was a confrontation between Silva and his superior, Bishop, who ordered him to leave Alice and take Lenore to the airport. However, when Silva asked Lenore decided to go back and save Alice.
Let's go get her.
Silva then began to trust Lenore, and the two of them headed to where Alice was. Meanwhile, Alice, who initially managed to hold on, began to run out of ammunition and was forced to surrender to a police officer.
Please, I'm a mother, please.
Alice tried to fight with all her might, but the difference in muscle structure between Alice and the Indocare police officer left Alice at a disadvantage. Fortunately, Lenore arrived just in time and managed to shoot the Indocare police officer. After that, they left by car heading to the airport. However, Axel suddenly blocked their path. Meanwhile, the plane that had arrived earlier decided to leave. Feeling there was no time left, Silva requested the advanced US drone to eliminate Axel from the equation. In a daring move, Silva blocked the plane about to take off. His actions paid off. Lenore then provided the code for the hard drive, and the cesium's location was found.
He's clear. Put him on the plane.
Alice and Lenore then flew to America. Meanwhile, at headquarters, the Overwatch team's computer was suddenly taken over by the Russians. Bishop realized this and ordered Silva to stop the plane. However, the attempt was in vain, and suddenly Russian secret agents arrived at the Overwatch headquarters and shot everyone there. On the plane, Lenore also managed to kill Alice by stealing a gun from the guards. It turned out that Lenore was a Russian agent who had been planted in Indocare for years to gain America's trust. Lenore's mission was to avenge the death of a young man killed by Silva. The young man was the son of one of the generals in Russia. From the beginning, the network used by the Overwatch team had been hacked by the Russians, allowing them to track the Overwatch team's location and effortlessly eliminate Overwatch members using the Indocare police.
The great game continues. Today was yours. See you tomorrow.
So, what do you think of the movie? I hope you enjoyed this content. The moral message from this film is that gaining someone's trust is not easy. Strive with the perseverance of Lenore. Not only did he gain his lover's trust, but he also managed to deceive America. Thank you for always supporting this channel. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.